The phone number is 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. So, Doc, let's jump right into it. Camp Dogwood. What is Camp Dogwood?
Camp Dogwood is an overnight camp for adults and their dogs. So if you are 18 or older and you have a dog, we offer an overnight camp experience where you come with your dog, and the whole program is activities that you do with your dog. So it's modeled after an overnight summer camp experience that kids would have, but instead of there being kids, we have dogs, and you're with your dog, and your dog sleeps with you, and pretty much can spend the whole day with you except meals.
Okay, hold on. I just heard traffic noise, cars screeching to a halt. They can't believe it in shock. You have an overnight camp experience for adults
With
and their dogs.
Yes. We're in our 19th year. We started in 2001 when we first launched Camp Dogwood. Was here in Chicago. That's where we were based. People thought we were nuts. They thought we were crazy. And since then, it's just gotten, I think, bigger and better every year.
People thought you were crazy, but Doc, I did some research for this show, and I learned that there are 43 million households, a little bit more than that, but 43 million households in the United States of America that have a dog. The average household has 1.6 dogs, which makes almost 70 million dogs.
I think the average person that comes to camp probably brings 1.6 dogs.
1.6. And dogs, there are dogs everywhere. So there's 43 million households with dogs. And how many people can come to your camp program at a time?
For our spring and fall camp sessions, which are our bigger sessions, about 100 humans, and we allow 2 dogs per human, up to 2 dogs per human. And then we have a winter camp program that's smaller. We try and keep that at about 50 people. The facility we use doesn't have enough winter housing, so that's a smaller program.
So people everywhere, because this show has tons.
We have
and
campers
tons of
that come. We've had campers from Canada, Washington State, Florida, Texas, New York. Truly from all. The majority probably come from the Midwest, but I'd say 25% come from outside of the Midwest.
Now, the site of the camp is not in Chicago. The site of the camp is in Wisconsin.
It's in
correct?
Lake Dalton, Wisconsin. We rent out a 700-acre overnight camp and resort for kids, and pretty much take it over. And we have exclusive use of the property while we're there.
So we've been building up the anticipation. I'm sure the 2 or 3 people listening are thinking, okay, but what happens? What do you do at Camp Dogwood? What are the activities?
I always feel like that scene from Forrest Gump where he lists all the kinds of shrimp. We offer the majority of dog sports. So we offer, agility, tracking, sheep herding, nose work, barn hunt, lure coursing, frisbee, fly ball, trick training. So we have a lot of sports. I apologize to my staff if I forgot one. Then we do things that are just kind of camp fun. So we have arts and crafts, hikes. You can take your dog down to the beach. There's a dog-friendly beach where they can swim. And then we also have a lot of talks. So we have veterinarians, a pet massage therapist, different types of wellness practitioners that will come and do more of an talk about educational topics. We have a camp photographer who's done a session on how to take good photos of your dogs. The educational sessions can really vary camp to camp.
And I'm sure some of the stuff is weather dependent as well.
So every camp, like a good camp director, I learned this from back in the days when I worked at summer camp. We have our regular schedule that's set up, and before we get to camp, I actually have a rainy day schedule for each day. So if it does rain, we actually have a schedule that we can just move to accommodate that.
There's a plan.
There's
okay.
a plan.
So how long does the camp last? I come up there on
a Thursday. The core camp program goes from Thursday to Sunday, and we do offer the option of coming up a day early on Wednesday. People who come up a day early on Wednesday, it's more of a day to just kind of chill, unpack, unwind, learn the lay of the land. There really aren't as many activities for extended camp. I'm finding though that every camp, more and more people are coming for extended camp. So,
So
yeah,
it's evolving.
it's
It's evolving.
evolving. Yeah,
So Doc, it's 4 days and 3 nights. The price point is about
about nine for the most popular accommodation, which would be a lodge room that has air conditioning, heat, private bathroom. It's like a modest hotel room.
mhm,
If you were to be in that room alone, it's about $900 for the 4 days and 3 nights, and that includes your lodging, your meals, your activities,
everything.
pretty much everything.
Okay. And there's of course, if you're having photos taken of your dog, you pay
There's
for
some
those
extras.
separately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few things like human massage, private lessons that are an extra fee.
So, Doc, who comes to your camp? Is it the people who are like super into their dog lives, or is it dog owners that are dog walkers, or who comes there?
We have a mix. We have a lot of people who are dog professionals. So we do have a certain cadre of people who are veterinarians, vet techs, dog trainers, dog groomers, people like that who work in the industry. And I think they come to camp just for a break, like a little self care from their own dog life, dog professional life. I think the best way to categorize the majority of people who come to Dogwood is I think they're more than just your typical pet owner, our family dog owner. I see them really more as like dog hobbyists. Like they really are the next level where they are really into their dogs and they're really into spending time with their dog, feeding their dogs a good diet. Really, a lot of them research a lot of things related to dog health. So I think that they're a little bit more than just I walk my dog a couple times a day and I feed it and
Sure.
it kind of goes along with the flow. They actively are doing things with their dog, seeking out opportunities to be with their dog, visit dog friendly places, things like that.
Now, I am a dog owner. I have a Labradoodle, 7-year-old Labradoodle named Tucker. He's an amazing dog. He and I like to go on hikes. We like to go into forest preserves, hikes, walks, that kind of thing. I was very surprised to learn about all these different dog sports. You rattled off a lot of them. What are a few of the most popular dog sports?
So after every camp, I do a feedback survey, and for 19 years, the same activity has always been in the number one spot, and that is lure coursing.
Wait,
And
I'm sorry,
it's called lure coursing.
lure coursing.
Lure coursing. And if you don't know what lure coursing is, I'll try and explain it simply, but there's a pulley system laid out over a big field that has string around it. A plastic bag is attached to the string, which is connected to a generator, and there's an operator, the instructor, who engages that, at which point the plastic bag zips across the field and the dog chases it. So they typically will do it one at a time. If there's more than one dog at a home, sometimes they can run together. And like we call it doggy crack. Like for some dogs, they do it once and then they go insane for it after that.
They're hooked.
They're hooked. It doesn't really require much training. Like it's the one sport where if your dog is into it, you literally just unhook the leash from their collar and they go.
So it's called lure coursing.
Lure coursing.
And is it just a camp activity, or can
No,
people do it?
People actually can compete in it. The sport really caters to sight hounds. So like your greyhounds, whippets, dogs like that. They actually do have organized competitions where dogs can go and compete and earn titles for lure coursing.
Are they competing for speed?
I believe so. I think it's speed and I think also accuracy. Like I've never been to a lure coursing trial, but I know that the way the courses are set out, some dogs will cheat, like they'll cut the corners, and you might get. I feel like in the
Penalized.
competition that maybe that.
Yeah, my
might-
dog is for sure a cheater.
So is mine.
My dog on the lure course, I have been up to your camp and I have experienced what this is like. Now Tucker, my dog, he took 3 steps towards that bag and then proceeded to walk out into the middle of the field and relieve himself. And that is his entire history with Thor Christie, not
Yeah.
interested. Now, it's because he's not prey driven,
Right.
right? This is a
That's
sport for dogs that are prey
yeah.
driven.
That have a lot of dogs do have some type of prey drive. I've seen all kinds of dogs do it.
Yeah. I'm sure that 7 years of me hiking with this dog saying, leave it, it's garbage, leave it, it's garbage. And then a plastic bag floats by and he looks at me and is like, I'm not chasing that. Yeah,
right?
that's
I'm
garbage,
lazy.
Dad.
Yeah.
I don't need that. So that at camp, that is a big
That's
sport.
a really popular sport.
What else did dogs get into? Like, if I'm a dog owner and I want to find something for my dog to do that is perfect, what are the things that are perfect for the dog?
I mean, things like agility have also been popular. We do everything that we offer at camp. We do offer at a beginner level so that if you've never done it before, you can try it out. Our camp is really designed for people to come and explore all the different activities. In recent years, what a lot of people term the sniffer sports,
Sniffer
sports, where they use their nose,
Uh-huh.
I have really become increasingly popular. So that would be things like nose work, which is modeled after like a detection dog, like a dog that might be looking for a bomb or for drugs. Now, we don't search for drugs or bombs at camp.
Thank goodness.
We use, benign essential oil odors. But I think that sport has really taken off. That's a sport that I personally compete in that sport with my dog. And pretty much that's what all dogs are bred to use their nose.
Yeah,
They
well,
love sniffing.
I have seen a lot of dogs sniffing.
You don't have to teach your dog to sniff. Anyone who has a dog, your dog sniffs.
Right.
They sniff all kinds of things.
They're built that way.
Yeah.
And so these sports are designed for the dogs to utilize their innate ability to smell things. And how does it work? I know that in barn hunt, they're looking for a rat. Is that right?
So in barn hunt, yes. Barn hunt, the dogs, like your terriers, there are some dog breeds that are bred to actually like hunt, if you will, vermin. Like that's what they were bred for. Back in the day on the farm, they would hunt the mice and things like that in your barn to help, like a cat, to control them. Now barn hunts, the dogs do search for live rats, but the rats are in tubes that are very protective, so no harm comes to a rat. And the tubes are hidden in bales of hay, and the dogs search an area, and then when they think they've found one of these tubes, they give their alerts, and then the owner, indicates that.
Got it. Now, these dogs, do you think they know? I mean, it's a praise-driven kind of thing, right? If they find the rat, they get a lot of praise from their owner. And then they get used to that idea. And they're not just hunting rats. You said they use oils. There's also shed hunting.
Right. So there's also shed hunting where once a year deer will shed their antlers, and then it's called a shed. So another sport would be a dog searching for those sheds. And so we do offer what's called shed hunting. And we may be offering morel hunting. Our shed hunting instructor also can teach morel for
Morel mushrooms.
Morel mushrooms.
And
So
then,
a lot of the principles are the same in terms of training. It's just you're training your dog to search for a different odor.
okay, now if I was out in the world and I was listening to this show, it would be a miracle. But if let's say I was listening to the show and I was listening to this, I'd be a little intimidated. Maybe this sounds like I have to know a lot of stuff about a lot of things.
Like
to
I
go to
said
Camp
before,
Dogwood.
you don't have to know anything about any sport. I think that we do offer all of these activities, but at the end of the day, I really do think that what people come to camp for really the most is the camaraderie and the time that they spend with their dog and with other like-minded dog people, and the friendships that they make.
This is something I can speak to, Doc. So I in all transparency, I do a little bit of work for your camp. I help to get the equipment set up, and I lead some hikes for some people. And what amazes me, and I'd like to talk about this a little bit with you, and I've told you this, I know, ad nauseum, I'm sure it's enough already, but the community that you have built through Camp Dogwood of people, the nicest people, kindest, loving, supportive, and they're all walking around with their dogs, and they know each other, and they're interested in each other's accomplishments, and
Stay in touch throughout the year.
it is really an amazing community that you've built. And once somebody comes up to Camp Dogwood and enters into this community, it's really a supportive and loving place. Was it like that from day one, or has that evolved over time as well?
I think it's been like that from the beginning. Like I said earlier, I went to sleepaway camp as a kid and worked at overnight camp. I mean, I met you at overnight camp. I think there's something about the camp experience that brings people together, and I just happen to do it in a place where our campers are dogs and their people. I always say that I think that Camp Dogwood is as much about the people as it is the dogs.
Yeah.
In terms of the friendships and the human connections that are formed. I think especially, when we started camp, it was almost 20 years ago, there was no social media. There were no smartphones,
Right.
it was really a different time for how we connect with people. And I think now, in 2019, I think people enjoy getting back to just like human connection. Like, we're not texting each other or emailing each other. We're actually like laughing around a campfire.
Right. Breaking
We're-
bread together.
Yeah, we're eating together. We're making memories together, like in real life.
Yeah. Right. Right. Like physical
Yeah,
and tangible.
like
Right.
real life.
I love that. If a dog is competing, let's say in weight pulling, and they win, they get a certificate.
They
You know,
get
that-
they get like a whole big mug.
Yeah,
glass
right.
mug, yeah.
For the winners.
For
Yeah,
the-
but everybody gets a certificate. It's tangible. Obviously, the dogs don't really care about that stuff, but the people do, and it's really nice to see. I'm going to invite, if there's anybody from the Camp Dogwood world listening, most of them will probably see your post and listen post show. So, but if anybody's out there listening now and would like to join the conversation about Camp Dogwood, you can call in at 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. I'm here with Dr. Elisa Slay, the owner of Camp Dogwood. So, Elisa, I have been involved with Camp Dogwood for a few years now, and there's some things that I've always wanted to ask you about Camp Dogwood, and so I'm going to do that publicly,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Hopefully, I'll have an answer.
So, number one is you work incredibly hard creating this program and operating it, and I see that from all the planning time, the gear, the activities, the staffing, all this kind of stuff. And this is not your full-time job.
It's not.
You work for the Department of Children and Family Services
And Jewish Child and Family Services.
right, and that's a full-time gig, and you have this incredible 20-year business. Why would somebody want to do all that work? Like, it's a lot of work that you're choosing to do. What drives you to do this?
I mean, I think it's just incredibly rewarding. Like, I always say that Camp Dogwood is my passion job. Like, I just get a lot of personal satisfaction out of it. I've made so many friends from doing camp. I love having a place to go with my dog to be able to do these things and have this time. So I think it's just like with a dog, you give your dog a cookie to help encourage a particular behavior. Like, camp is like a giant, like my giant cookie. Like, it's just tremendously rewarding.
It's really a beautiful program. So you are a camp person, right? We are camp people. Those of us who went to summer camp and took it a step further, became counselors and program directors and supervisors, things of that nature. We are a certain kind of person, and I think that the camp appeals to. But to take it into the dog world, as a business, you only need 0.00002% of the dog owning population
Yes.
to come to your camp and for you to be full, right? It's not a tremendous percentage,
No, it's not.
obviously.
Right.
And yet people thought of your business when you explained it to them, like, are you
Crazy,
crazy?
yeah.
How hard has it been to get to this point? What were the challenges as a business owner? There's other business owners out there who have an idea, a passionate that they're passionate
Right.
about. How hard was it to get? 20 years is a
I mean,
successful long time.
it's, when we started, like I said, there was no social media, there were no smartphones. And I mean, we literally like hit the pavement. Like it was going out in Chicago, truly, and like walking around and going into all of the dog stores and vet offices and introducing ourselves and forming relationships with people. I think that was key, was forming the relationships within the community of people that we were trying to get customers from. Obviously now it's a little bit easier because we're more of a digital age, although I do still strongly believe that the relationships that you form with people in the marketplace that you're working on are invaluable to helping you build your business. I think customer service is key. I think that that's something that I've always tried to stay on top of. And what can I do to make my customers, make the campers happy?
Well, you do that. So we're coming to the end of this segment, Doc. I just want to tell you, I know I've said it before, but I admire you and so much. Not just because you're an amazing person, but what you have built here is truly exceptional. I have been a dog owner my whole life, never heard of dog sports or Camp Dogwood or anything like that. You and I bumped into each other and you asked me to
I'll
come
play it.
up
Yeah.
and I did. I was blown away, completely blown away. It is one of the most amazing products that I have ever seen in my short
Oh,
life.
thank you.
I truly love it. And I hope that anybody who's listening to the show will go online to campdogwood.com,
campdogwood.com.
take a look at your program, consider coming up. Please don't be intimidated because you think there's a world that doesn't include you. It's the most inclusive
Yeah,
community
it really is.
that I have ever been a part of. And I'm so happy you were able to be here today and talk a little bit about your camp that you've built. It's truly an honor and a pleasure. We're gonna break now. I'm sorry that nobody got a chance to call in, but we're gonna see comments, I'm sure. And we're going to come back after the break with Rebecca Jasso. She's a singer-songwriter from Chicago. She's going to join